right, Black and White Network supporters. Well, we got a little 2-for-1 in this video because I wanted to make sure that I touched on this straw poll coming out of, well, let's just call it Trump Fest. Trump Fest 2023. Turning point, of course, AIM Fest was going down, and they, as they always do, some kind of a straw poll usually, and it is surrounding the Republican primary candidates. I want to touch on that because, well, to say Trump boat raced everybody would be the understatement of the century. Now, as we know, Colorado Democrats are trying to box out Trump from the election, and I'm sure the other Democratic states are watching right now to see what happens because they'd love to do the same. And I believe, and this is just my 2 cents, this is once again going to backfire on an epic level. U.S. Supreme Court's going to step up and do a Dikembe Mutombo and block this straight back into the crowd. And not only that, it's just once again going to grow his popularity even more. When you have Chris Christie's fat ass up there actually crushing the fact that Colorado did this, yikes. I mean, that's going to backfire on the Democrats no matter what. And we're going to talk about John Fetterman because I did a video the other day. Fetterman's been coming out. I don't know what's happened to him after this stroke, but all of a sudden, maybe he is a clone, all of a sudden, he's stringing together all of these, number one, extremely moderate and even in some cases right-leaning kind of viewpoints. And he was on with Jake Tapper of CNN, of the Communist News Network, and he was talking about Israel. And the most interesting part, and we know he's very pro-Israel and helping them out and crushing that terrorist organization, terrorist faction known as Hamas off planet Earth. Me and John Fetterman are right there on that, along with border issues and things like that. Again, maybe he is a clone. But the one thing he also talked about was the fact, and this is an issue, and folks, I am not for squashing any platforms whatsoever, but he talks about just how poisonous the fact that so many young people, and I don't know if you guys have seen those numbers, the skewed numbers from young people on Israel versus Hamas, but it's frightening. It's like 7 out of every 10 people under a certain age, I think under the age of 24 or something like that, are pro-Hamas. And they're getting their news from TikTok. Now, that's dangerous as shit, right? I mean, number one, China owns the platform. Number two, I mean, it's just, now you've got a social media platform just indoctrinating kids into a, not just a pro-democratic kind of political lean, but a flat, radical, progressive, dangerous, ignorant. Ignorance is great. I mean, when you got gays for Hamas, there's a lot of ignorance going on there too. All right, these kids are dumb. Just dumb with a B at the end. By the way, I wanted to also be able to show this little part of this poll that talked about Tucker because Tucker won the top pick for U.S. Vice President at this America Fest 2024. America Fest 2024. Yeah. Former President Donald Trump was the favorite among GOP contenders for president in a straw poll at TPUSA's America Fest in Phoenix, Arizona. Trump took 82.6% of the vote. Talking about sucking all the air out of the room. And Tucker Carlson won the top pick for U.S. Vice President, taking 35% of the vote. A total of 1,113 attendees of Turning Point's Action 2024 America Fest event were surveyed in the poll, with interviews being conducted online via email invite from December 17 to 18, 2023. Coming in a distant second was Florida Governor Ron DeSantis at 7.6%. Businessman Vivek Ramaswamy took 5.88%. former UN ambassador and chief swamp leader. I'm just keeping it real. I'm not a Nikki Haley person at all. Nikki Haley, 1.1%. In other words, you weren't even involved. While former New Jersey governor Chris Christie's fat ass got 0.1% of the vote. Yeah, I just went there. Guys, again, 2.5% were undecided, 0.3% preferred someone else. Who the hell's the someone else here? And people did make it clear, and I thought this was interesting, and this is hilarious because I'm going to agree with this. And I know there's some views that RFK Jr. and a lot of us don't agree on, but there's a hell of a lot of views we do. He destroyed Nikki Haley on the vice president vote. That's interesting. The candidates who came behind Tucker Carlson for VP was Vivek Ramaswamy at 25.7. I think a lot of people feel that way about Vivek. I do. Kristi Noem would be another one that I keep thinking about. Ron DeSantis at 6%. Man, there was a time when that would have been a powerhouse ticket. Wow. Independent candidate RFK Jr. at 4.9%. Jesus, he's right on Ron DeSantis' ass in the Republican Party. And Nikki Haley at 2.4%. Wow. Other notable takeaways include that plurality of surveyed voters believe Joe Biden will not be the Democratic nominee for president. I've been saying that. Just 30% of voters indicated they do believe it will happen, while a far higher 47.4% indicated he would not be the party's candidate of choice. I agree with that. Ronna McDaniel, the RNC's chairwoman, overwhelmingly got voted out if it was up to the people that showed up to America Fest. I think a lot of people think she just doesn't have Republicans' best interest in mind, and I agree. So let's get over to Fetterman because, again, Lurch is trying to make a lot of sense. I don't know if Lurch, because he's taking a lot of hits now from Democrats, especially the progressive side. He's taking a lot of shots. A lot of bullets are starting to come this way. I did a video the other day. One of the things that was said about him is he trying to take the Joe Manchin role of being the most hated Democrat? I thought, damn, how things have changed. So, again, maybe he is a clone. Senator John Fetterman, Democrat, Pennsylvania, ripped people who get their news from the Chinese-controlled TikTok, saying that their perspective will be, quote, warped and not reflective of reality. This is John Fetterman talking about reality. Again, shocking. Fetterman made the remarks during an interview with CNN's Jake Tapper on Tuesday while discussing why young Democratic voters are not supporting Biden's mostly pro-Israel stance. 72% of young voters, according to a new poll, disapprove of how Biden is handling the Israel-Hamas war. He said, "You've been very vocal in your support of Israel. I see the Israeli flag. Let's never let a good chance the virtue signal go to waste. Behind you in your office there. You've been very clearly arguing that Hamas bears responsibility for the tragedy of what's going on in Gaza." Well, they're evil sons of bitches, so there's that. Quote, do you think so many young people, especially in your party, see it differently? Quote, I really, really don't know. I do know that a lot of people are getting their perspective from TikTok. Fetterman responded, and I think if you're kind of getting your perspective on the world from TikTok, it's going to tend to be kind of warped or not reflective of history. And actually, the way things actually absolutely are. And what is very clear is that Hamas started this, and they actually broke the ceasefire. They attacked, murdered babies, children, and women. Attacked a music concert. Everything, he continued. It's outrageous. And from now on, it's been very clear that Israel would very much want there to be peace. But they've made it very clear that after October 7th, that's just not possible so long as Hamas is allowed to exist. So that's going to catch him a hell of a lot of shrapnel. I guarantee it. They're going to come after Fetterman because of those comments. Again, I know there's been a push to get rid of TikTok, and I think ultimately it's probably going to have to be banned in the United States. And I have to admit, I've said this before, I feel torn on that because I don't like the idea of any platform being taken down on social media. You know, I mean, look, Democrats tried to rule and own Twitter at one point, right? And it took somebody buying it, Elon Musk, to flip it around. Now, nobody's buying TikTok. I don't see that happening. And I think, again, the China version of TikTok is much different than ours. They use TikTok in China as like an educational tool for the children over there, etc. And I mean, I'm talking like real learning education, okay? Not indoctrination, which is largely what TikTok is. And I know there's a lot of conservatives on that platform that give political commentary. I mean, almost everybody. I'm not on there, but I know a lot of political commentators have or are on TikTok. It's just not for me. I don't feel right using it. I don't. I think it's a poisonous platform. There's no telling what kind of data is coming out of there. And you're seeing the overflow of the ideology that's on that platform. I think ultimately it's going to have to be banned. I do. And again, I don't want anybody to come out and be like, we got to ban Rumble because there's so many conservatives on there. I don't like that either. So it's a slippery slope. It is. But at least Rumble's owned by, people in the United States, etc. I know Bongino's involved in it and all of that, but you get my point. Chinese owned, obviously shoveling a lot of propaganda. Obviously a lot of people are on there. That Osama bin Laden thing just blew my mind. You know, the sympathizing and empathizing with Osama bin Laden, I was like, wow, okay. I mean, you guys are truly, that generation that is listening to TikTok, they are truly just cats, and TikTok is just waving a laser light in front of their face, and they're just bobblehead dolling around the laser, following it around the room like this. And it's like they're zombies. It's nuts. It really is. Tell me what you think, Black and White Network supporters. John Fetterman, again, maybe he is a clone. John Fetterman preaching more sense? Is it medically possible for a stroke to make you smarter and more coherent? Because I didn't think that was possible. Did they change his medicine? Whatever it is, I mean, look, I'm not much on, I'm going to call out both sides. So if somebody on the other side gets something right, he got this right. I don't know how else to say it. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.